Welcome, people of the World Wide Web, and what have I got for you for today? As the title will show, it's a movie review. Times I've seen a few more, and we are going for Renfield. So I'll plonk it there. So this is the Dracula-inspired comedy. So it's action comedy. It kind of blurs the lines a little bit in places. Starring Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage. So you got Nicholas is there now. Obviously, these two have worked together once before. I'll save it. If you know, I'll say put down in the comments at the beginning of the video. Let's see if you can get through or you can remember what it is before the end. But yeah, they have worked together before quite a long time ago. So it's interesting to kind of revisit that dynamic. And I know what you probably asked about. What is Renfield about? So Renfield is the Nicholas Hoult character. He is a disciple, a apprentice, underling, whatever you'd want to call him, of Dracula. Many years ago, it's probably hundreds. It doesn't specify that he converts Nicholas Hoult's character and basically to do his bidding. Now this is set in modern day after these events have happened. They kind of do a little flashback at the very beginning to they've cropped like the two characters into, I think, scenes from Dracula now or older movies to make it look like they're back in the day. And yeah, and as you've seen from the trailer, so Nicholas Hoult is at a kind of like AA meeting, but it is for like abusive partners or partners where they are putting them down. And this is, and then it basically is narrated from the Nicholas Hoult perspective as Renfield, because that's what the film is. And obviously he feels he's being abused or like being mistreated by Dracula, the Nicolas Cage character, and he, you know, it is very interesting. I do like how it is taken from, you know, how it takes this angle and going forward. Now, before we get into it, I am a big fan of Nicholas Hoult. I think he is underappreciated. As I know it's come out a lot, you know, he was almost Batman and he missed out on the role. He was always in Mission Impossible. He missed out on that role. I want to say there was another film he was meant to be in, and he missed out on like he's had 3 big roles quite recently. He's just been picked by the post for the other people, and that, by the by, you know. But ever since I think watching him in like Warm Bodies and Jack the Giant Slayer, I think it was. Now, obviously, people didn't rate those films. He is, to me, he has got leading man material. He just needs to be used in the right format. Warm Bodies was a prime example. It's perfect for him. It's such an underrated film in my eyes. Obviously, he played a zombie, and now in this one, he's a vampire type person. So, but anyway, I get off the track. So, you know, I will try not to be an influence, but you do have to understand. And obviously, I do like the character and how he's portrayed, and you know, and this is you know, I do like how everything is set up, and that it feels in this that the story overall is a bit mishmash. So obviously, I say he goes to this meeting and you see this all in trailer, he feels like he's abused and stuff like this, and then it's kind of him overcoming that. He kind of befriends the female cop played by Aquafina. I think like she does the role well, but she brings along her own style of comedy, and it is not for everybody. Obviously, if you've seen Jumanji, she is in the last one that they did. She's been in like Crazy Rich Asians and a few other ones, and I say she does have a very specific type. She's quite loud and not necessarily obnoxious, but it can come across that way, and I think a lot of people won't gravitate to her. That's fine. And yeah, and it's just a story of kind of, he goes to these meetings on the premise of that he notices people are being abused, and they're the people he kills to feed Dracula. Now, because he's feeding Dracula nasty people, it doesn't give him a enriched kind of sense. His meal is quite bland. So basically, Dracula's meals, depending on the sort of person you are, depends on how good of a meal it is. If you're a really good person, it's a really nice meal. If you're a really bad person, it's not good. So this is how it is. Because he starts picking on kind of underlings of bad people, he kind of messes with this gangster mafia type family, and that's how they get. And say the son is played by the guy who plays the voice of Sonic, and he was the only person that really annoyed me. His character was meant to be annoying and whiny, and that's how he come across. So he kind of did the role, but I didn't like it. How it links everything together. I mean, Nicolas Cage very early on when he's very deformed because it starts off he's kind of shriveled, and the more people he gets to eat, he gets back to his Dracula self by kind of like 2/3 of the film, half of the film maybe. And I quite liked that of Nicolas Cage. You know, he was kind of in his element. This is one role he has wanted to play since he started acting, so it's good to see that kind of come through. And I say the two characters do work well together. I said, but I say as they go along, this is where I enjoyed it. It was funny. I went with my mates, so I do have to consider that. You know, if you go with your friends and stuff, I think obviously if they find it funny, sometimes you find stuff a bit more funny. But it was a bit slapstick. There was a little bit of romance in there, and this is the few bits that I got it. Like overall, it was all right. I mean, if you go in, switch your brain off, and just it's a fun, over the top kind of horror film with a little bit of comedy in. That's the premise of it as it is. And I say, and that, you know, and for me, I rated like, you know, 6.5 out of 10. I say it got an extra half probably because I like Nicholas Hoult and how you know, and I quite liked the more focus on him, and I do like Nick Cage as well. I say the kind of choppy and that is I say there's elements where they start fishing that there could be a relationship between the female cop and Renfield, and then by the end they're friends, and it kind of overlooks. It gets to one point when the female cop realizes who Renfield actually is, stuff, and there's little bits like that. It kind of starts to go away. Like, you know, they're kind of interested in them. It builds a few things, and then just literally like the next scene 180. No, that's it. You know, interest is off the table, and I thought that was a bit strange. I say near the annoying gangster kid. Obviously, he does get a bigger role as time goes on, and I was a bit annoyed him. The fighting scenes weren't too bad. I say like there are quite gruesome, over the top, and that, but they're meant to be for kind of comedy aspect. And I say the comedy to me was hit and miss. It's kind of a comedy and an action movie, and when they try and then throw little bits of like romance in, if it doesn't work correctly, you know, it just misses its point. And I think in every case, there were points and places within the film where stuff didn't land, stuff didn't work, and to me, I think this is done from a lesser known director and stuff, and I would suspect that maybe if we got to see a full cut of what this actually film was like before it was cut by the studios and stuff, I imagine it may be a fuller long film, because I mean it's only like an hour and a half as well, which is quite short. And when you've got a lot of elements in, I think you need to take longer to build them up. But I mean, overall, I went to say it's enjoyable. You can go to cinema, turn your brain off, have a good laugh, enjoy some bloody gore action, and you're saying some good actors. And I've seen far worse films of late and stuff of this, so it's quite enjoyable. So yeah, as I say, 6.5 out of 10 for me. Now I do stay away before I do leave. So I try and stay away from it, but it has been made aware to me that obviously there are links to What Lies in the Shadows, I think it's called, like a vampire series and base. And I think from the sounds of anybody who's seen that doesn't like this. No, I've not seen it, but I think to follow this up, I'm going to try and watch that series and then see how it connects, and maybe my views might be a bit different. Whether that's a factor, it's not taken in consideration here because I've not seen it. I don't really know about it. I only have a chat with a fellow YouTuber earlier today, and he showed me the posters and stuff, and I kind of got it. But I would say most of the time before these reviews, I try and keep that out. Yeah, anyway, I liked it. So if you've got to the end of this video, well done. Obviously, if you haven't read the comments or not adding in the comments, obviously Nicholas Hoult and Nicolas Cage did star together in The Weatherman. I think it was an early 2000s film. Really funny bit where he walks through New York with a bow and arrow and stuff. And so one of the kind of more of a thinker of the Nicolas Cage films from back in the day-ish, so to speak. But yeah, anyway, hopefully you enjoyed my movie review of Renfield. Hopefully you've liked this video. Please do press that like button or thumbs it up if that's what you want. You know, it's good for YouTube to understand that obviously you do like this sort of videos. You know, hopefully it gives me a sign as well so I can keep producing them more. You know, please, if in these reviews you feel I'm missing something out, please do pop it in the comments. Always happy for feedback and totallys. And yeah, and if you do like my videos, please do subscribe. I was coming out with regular content on this channel, so it would be appreciated. Anyway, I've been Cypher Sigma. This has been Cypher Sigma Screen Times, and I shall see you in the next one.